Hi everybody, I am Kate O'Keefe and this is Kate O'Keefe Rom-Com Audiobooks. We are reading this book. No more bad dates and we're up to chapter 9. Let's go. Chapter 9. It's Monday morning and I'm psyching myself up to meet Oliver Price for my inaugural initial contact. Per the No More Bad Dates Pact rules of engagement, we've agreed to meet at a coffee house near his work. It's called Alessandro's, a place I've not been to before, and as I push my way through the heavy glass door, I'm immediately struck by the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and chatter from the busy cafe. As I scan the room for the guy who fits the description Paige gave me, okay, and the guy who looks like the person I've already spent hours stalking on social media, I try my best not to think of him as the enemy. No matter what Darcy says, this is not war. This is a date, and he's just a guy out to meet a girl like everyone else. So why do I feel like I'm about to walk across the freaking Somme right now? I steel myself with a deep breath. It doesn't take long to spot him amidst the hubbub of the cafe. He looks like his photos, only better. He's sitting at a table for two, concentrating on something on his phone. I seize the moment to look him over. No, forget that. I don't just look him over, I drink him in. He's hot like Zac Efron meets Gerard Butler, but I can tell he's also super tall, his long legs reaching way past the edge of the small table. As I look at him, I notice there's even a hint of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory thrown in to geek him up a notch. Seriously, how is this guy still single? As I walk over to his table, I say a little silent prayer I'm not about to find out. I repeat, please don't be a jerk, please don't be a jerk, in my head with every step until I come to a nervous stop beside him, my throat dry with apprehension. Oliver? He looks up at me and his face breaks into a smile. Zac, Gerard and Sheldon. A weirdly perfect combination, which on Oliver Price just simply works. You've got to be Sophie. Sure am. He pushes himself up, his chair making a screeching noise across the tiled floor as he stands to his full height. And he is tall, like basketball player tall. Tall and totally cute. It's great to meet you. He leans down and kisses me on the cheek, and I feel a flush begin to bloom where his lips touched. You too. I smile at him like a star-struck teenage girl. No pygmy at 5'8", this guy makes me feel small and feminine. And I kind of like it. I know it's old-fashioned, but it's nice to feel small and feminine for a change. And yes, I know I've set the women's movement back about 50 years by thinking it. I hope you don't mind, but I checked with Paige to see how you have your coffee. He gestures at what looks like a latte on the table. Double shot skinny latte, right? Happiness spreads through me as I peer up at him. Thank you so much, Oliver. That's so sweet. He shrugs, looking embarrassed. It's completely adorable. I guess I wanted to make a good impression. Paige said some really great things about you. She said some really great things about you too. We stand by the table, smiling our shy smiles at one another like a couple of goofballs before Oliver says, "Did you want to sit down?" "Oh, yes!" I let out a light laugh as we both sit at the table. "Try the coffee," he says. I pick the coffee cup up and raise it to my lips. Oliver watches me closely, so close that I lower the cup and say, "What?" "Oh, sorry, I guess I was staring, right?" "Kind of, yeah." He gives a self-effacing shrug. "It's just Paige said you're a brilliant barista, and I guess I'm nervous the coffee won't be up to your usual standard." Could this guy get any sweeter? "I'm sure it'll be great." I take a sip before he can say another word. "It's excellent," I declare, even though it's not. But hey, this guy is cute. He's done a really sweet thing for me, and right now my hopes are so high they're in fear of getting vertigo. Awesome. He grins at me some more and things zing around inside of me. "So, tell me about yourself, Oliver." "Sure, I guess you know where I work because of Paige. I've been at AGD for about 6 years now, ever since I graduated, in fact. I guess I'm one of those types of people who joined the graduate program and liked it so much they stayed. I've not heard that's a type exactly, but I go with it. You're marketing, right? Product marketing. Every time AGD has a new product, me and my team put together marketing plans for it. And you love doing it? I do. My goal is to run the team sometime soon and keep taking steps up the corporate ladder. A man of ambition, huh? My siblings will adore him. He gives another one of those shy smiles that had me swooning before. I've got goals and I'm not afraid to go after them. How about you? I think of the cozy cottage. Oh, I love what I do too. In fact, I've just been promoted. Seriously? To what? I'm the weekend manager at Cozy Cottage High Tea. High tea? I laugh. It's probably more of a girl thing. It's where you sit around for hours on end and eat a lot of yummy things. Oh, and drink endless cups of tea or coffee. I could really get on board with the eating thing, but the tea? He scrunches up his face. Not so much. I'm kind of the same, although if you tell my mum that, I'll be hung and quartered. She's that serious about tea? She's Irish. Got it. Anyway, I'm training myself to drink it. And you know what? Earl Grey is really nice. And there's this one called Lapsang Souchong that's smoky and interesting. Lapsang what? A smile teases the edges of his mouth. Souchong, I repeat as I return his smile. It's from the mountainous Wau region in the Chinese province of Fujian. He leans back in his chair and studies my face. You know your stuff. I shrug. I'm enjoying this so much. I try. There's a lot to learn about tea, and I guess I want to make sure I'm knowledgeable in front of the customers. I'm sure they'll all be dazzled by you, he replies, and a warmth spreads across my chest. Great work, Paige. Oh, I don't know about that. I take another sip of my average coffee, feeling embarrassed. There's so much more to know. I haven't even started on herbals. Herbals aren't tea. They're nice smelling water. I giggle. Don't forget, no caffeine. Exactly. What's the point? I grin at him, not quite believing the setup is going so incredibly well. Oliver Price, where have you been all my dating life? Paige tells me you like to fish. His face lights up. I sure do. My interest in fishing is less than zero, but listening to Oliver's enthusiasm and watching the way his face lights up, I think fishing has rapidly become my new favourite topic of conversation, at least with this guy. Sometime later, our coffee cup's empty. The alarm on my phone sounds, signalling our initial meeting should now be at an end. Although I could happily stay here with Oliver and talk for the rest of the day, I really can't go breaking the rules this early on. Darcy would definitely have something to say about it, and this is the first ever No More Bad Dates initial meeting. Standards need to be set. Oh no, I sound like Darcy. As we walk out of the cafe and onto the street, he looks at me from his lofty height and says, "This has been nice. Let's do it again sometime." I'd like that. I know what I need to do next. I need to tell him about the No More Bad Dates vetting process, and my nerves are doing overtime. I've got to ask you something really weird. Weird can be good. My friends and I have made a pact, and part of it is that any guy we want to date needs to meet the group first. That seems sensible enough. There are a lot of weirdos out there, you know. Relieved, I let out a light laugh. That's good. So, if we are to go out together again, you'd be fine to meet them? His smile beams down at me. Dinner, my treat. We can meet them for a drink first. I bite my lip as a grin busts out across my face. This is going to work. I finally found a non-jerk, a great guy, and he wants to go out with me. I can hardly wait for our first official date. I don't have to wait long until D-Day rolls around, the day Oliver faces my friends to be vetted within an inch of his life. So it really could be called V-Day for vetting day, but I'm pretty sure that means victory day, and I'm not exactly feeling victorious. In fact, I'm about as nervous as a real housewife getting her first lip injections. Call me crazy, but I made the call to exercise my dater's choice to be present per the rules of engagement. What that means in plain old English is that right now I'm waiting with Darcy, Erin and Jason to interrogate Oliver. I feel sorry for him. But then I think of Andrew Foster and the way he unceremoniously dumped me at Bailey's wedding and then moved straight on to the next girl without even a backward glance. And I know I absolutely do not have a choice in this. If I want to date, I need to take control. And that's what tonight is all about. Jason leans back in his seat across the table from me. I still can't believe this guy agreed to meet your friends before he's even been on a proper date with you. I would never do that. Why not? Erin asks. Because it's insane, that's why. No, it's not, Darcy protests. Vetting potential dates underpins our entire dating philosophy. Well, our new dating philosophy. But Jason is like a dog with a juicy bone. Think about it. You're set up on a blind date with a friend of a friend, and instead of getting to spend the date with that person, you meet a tribe of their friends who've come armed with a list of personal questions. He points at the notepad on the table in front of Erin. Literally. Darcy shrugs. It's either that or no date, and he clearly wants to go out with your roommate. Well, I get that. Sophie's a total catch. He winks at me. Indignant at his insinuation that I'm the opposite of a catch, I say, I am a total catch. Jason shrugs. That's what I said. But you do need to do some serious work on your gaming skills. You want to talk to me about my gaming skills right now? I ask. Remind me, have you ever beaten me at Fortnite? Jason asks. I shake my head at him. See? You're showing us exactly why this committee should be girls only. Darcy crosses her arms. Focus, Jason. Got it? He puts his hands up in the air in surrender. Got it. Darcy looks around the group. Has everyone got their questions at the ready? Yes, Erin replies as Jason says, questions? Erin shakes her head. I texted them to you last night. Jason picks his phone up off the table and begins to scroll through his messages. I thought that was just you drunk texting random things to me. Erin looks offended. I never drunk text. I clear my throat as Darcy and I share a look. Drunk texting has been Erin's thing for way too long. She breaks up with a guy and her resolve not to ever contact him again glides further and further down a slippery slope with her every sip of Chardonnay. Girls' karaoke night after one of Erin's breakups often requires one of us to wrestle her phone from her at the end of the night. Erin holds her index finger up. One time, and I really did think he was still into me. Honey, I don't want to sound harsh, but it's been maybe a few more times than once, I reply. Erin slumps back in her chair. Twice then. But seriously, guys, I've learned my lesson. Never again. That's the other thing Erin does. Declare she'll never drunk text again, which of course lasts until the next time something goes wrong with a guy and she has that glass of Chardonnay. Really, she's a danger unto herself. Anyway, we're not here to talk about me and my failings with men, many as they may be. We're here for Sophie, Erin declares. Exactly. Jason, read your questions, Darcy instructs. And remember, we're not looking for HEAs here, just HFNs. Absolute perfection isn't required. As I remind them of the premise of the No More Bad Dates Pact, Darcy and Erin both nod. Jason's face is creased up in confusion. What language are you talking, McCarthy? Seriously, Jason, read your message, Erin says with force. An HFN stands for happy for now. It means he might not be the one, but he's more than good enough for now, I explain. Darcy quirks an eyebrow. Kind of like you and all those nurses. Jason lets out a laugh, his eyes dancing. Some of them are trainee doctors like me, you know. It's so good to hear you don't discriminate, Darcy deadpans. Stop, you guys, My heart leaps into my mouth when I spot Oliver. He's standing next to the bar, scanning the room. Dressed in a white polo shirt and a pair of jeans, he looms tall over most of the people nearby, standing out like the mini giant he is. He's here. Where? Erin's head whips around, making it as obvious as grass stains on white pants that she's looking for him. Him? The super tall guy? Yes, but don't make it so obvious, I say to her through my teeth. Wow, that guy's a dead ringer for Danny DeVito, Jason says. I suppress a giggle as I stand up. Jason's being too annoying right now for me to give him the satisfaction of laughing at his joke. I feel Jason's hand on my arm and look down to see him staring up at me, an earnest look on his face. Soph, is now a good time to point out once again that we are all here to bet the crap out of this guy, and he agreed to it? I pull my arm away and ignore him. I walk over to greet Oliver. His face lights up when he spots me, and he gives me a hug and kiss on the cheek in greeting. It's sweet, and I instantly feel bad for putting him through this whole vetting palaver. Are you sure you're up for this? I ask him, half hoping he'll choose to back out, and he and I can make a run for it through the fire escape together. Of course, you're worth it. He smiles at me, and my belly does a flip. If I need to prove to you that I'm a decent guy before you'll let me take you to dinner, then I say bring it on. I grin at him. You're a total rock star. We walk over to the table together, me feeling like I'm leading an oversized lamb to the slaughter, and him, well, I'm not sure what he's thinking, but I'm more than glad he's here. My friends all greet him, and we take our seats. Darcy places her hands on the notebook in front of her. First up, thank you for being here today, Oliver. We know this isn't what you might be expecting when you start seeing someone new, so we're really pleased you're up for it. Oliver looks around the table. Look, feel free to ask me anything you want. I'm an open book. Are you now? Darcy says. Let's get started then. Erin? Erin places her finger on the first line of her notepad and clears her throat. How did your last relationship end and why? She decided it was over. It was rough at the time. We'd been together for a while. How did it happen? Erin persists. You want specifics? Oliver asks, and Erin nods. She met someone else. She left me for him. The fleeting look of sadness on his face has my heart contracting for him. As I said, it was a rough time for me. Oh, I'm sorry, Erin says, her brow creased in concern for him. I know what that's like. It totally sucks. Okay, next question, Darcy says. Jason? Jason reads his phone, looks up at Darcy and says, You seriously want me to ask him this? That's the whole point, she hisses out of the corner of her mouth. Jason shrugs. Okay then. He looks up at Oliver. Oliver, what do you do to express your feelings for someone you're dating? I pressed my lips together to stop a smile. I don't think I've ever heard the word feelings come out of Jason's mouth in my life. Well, other than I'm feeling hungry, which he says frequently. Well, Oliver begins, I guess I might simply tell her how I feel, but often I'll show her by cooking a delicious meal. I think food is a wonderful way to express your feelings for someone. He turns to me. I like to cook. Good, because Sophie doesn't, Erin says. I shoot her a look that tells her to shush it. He doesn't need to know my flaws just yet. You don't like to cook? Oliver asks me, the look on his face telling me exactly how outlandish that concept is to him. Reluctantly, not wanting to put this guy off, Zac Efron meets Gerard Butler with a touch of Sheldon, remember? But not wanting to lie either, I say, I'm pretty good at toast, I guess. You are good at toast, Jason confirms. I'm not boasting here, but I taught her all she knows. How to toast bread, how to butter toast, even how to smother it with peanut butter. She's quite the gourmet toast chef these days. Oliver's eyebrows shoot up. Did you two date? I laugh, perhaps a little too loudly. No, Jason's my roommate. That's how he knows about my finely tuned skills with the aforementioned toast. Oliver nods, his lips drawn into a thin line. Good to know. His eyes dart to mine. You don't cook, but you like to eat, right? Oh, yes. I'm big on eating. I love food. Love it. Do I sound a little too eager? Oliver's lips twitch into a smile. That's good to hear. I like food too. We share a smile, and I ignore a little voice inside my head that says, doesn't pretty much everyone like food? Next question's from me, Darcy begins. If I were to ask your most recent ex about you, what would she say? Oliver's eyes widen. Wow, you guys like to ask the tough questions, don't you? Yes, Oliver, we do. Darcy's eyebrows knit together as she sizes him up. Okay, well, the last girl I dated would probably say I'm a good guy, a good cook. He looks at me. But that ultimately we weren't right for one another. Hence why she took off with another guy. Her pen poised over her notepad, Darcy says, can I get her to corroborate that? Oh, come on, Jason exclaims as he throws his hands in the air. Can't you leave the guy with some small part of his dignity intact? He's answered a load of personal questions. Do you think you can leave the ex alone? Darcy glares at him. See, I knew it would be a bad idea to have a guy in on the vetting committee, particularly if that guy is Jason Christie. Thanks, man. Oliver fist bumps Jason across the table. Look, I hope I've answered these questions the way you wanted me to. Right now, I'm only interested in knowing if I passed, because if I have, I've booked a restaurant table at Chez Pierre for 8, and I'd really quite like to take Sophie there. I smile and look at him through my lashes. As far as I'm concerned, Oliver has passed with flying colours. And anyway, Chez Pierre is a super fancy French restaurant my brother loves to brag about going to, a place I've never been able to afford. The chance to go to such a high-end and romantic place with Oliver makes me want this date even more. Darcy flips her notepad cover over. Oliver, if you can give us a few minutes, we'll let you know our verdict. Sure, I'll be over at the bar. After this, I think I deserve a beer. I think you do too, Jason says. Oliver gets up and shoots me a small smile before he leaves. When he's out of earshot, I bite my lip and say, so, what did you think? Oh, he's great, Erin declares instantly. He's considerate and kind and cares about the women he dates. He gets the green light from me. I turn to Darcy. What did you think? Well, although I'm not about to swoon over him like you two are, she raises her eyebrows at me and Erin, I think we can safely assume he falls into the non-jerk category. Darcy, you kill me. That's as good as a huge thumbs up from my more reserved, measured friend. You need to proceed with caution here. Even though he's passed, he could pull a jerk move at any time, Darcy warns, and I half expect a spooky soundtrack to accompany her words. I stop myself from rolling my eyes. Yes, I get it. What do you think, Jace? Jason sits forward in his seat and leans his arms on the table. Did anyone else notice he's too focused on food? What? I say loudly. I readjust my voice to inside and not a child. What do you mean too focused on food? That's crazy. He mentioned it a lot, like too much a lot. I think he might be a feeder. I'm not sure I want to know the answer, but I ask anyway. What's a feeder? I thought a feeder was something you put in the garden for the birds, Erin says. That's a bird feeder, Erin, an entirely different thing. A feeder is a person, usually a man, who likes to feed his partner up until she gets bigger and bigger and bigger. He's turned on by it. Darcy arcs an eyebrow. Really? That's a thing? Look it up. Jason pushes his phone across the table to Darcy. That guy is a feeder, and he wants Sophie fattened up. I'm sure of it. I shake my head. What is he talking about? It's ridiculous, that's what it is. I doubt it, Jace. He's a good guy. Why don't you just admit it? I agree, Erin says firmly. So what if he likes food? I think it's cute, and Sophia's going to share Pierre with him right now. Aren't you, Soph? Her eyes are bright with excitement for me. I am. I stand up. Thank you for your services this evening. No more bad dates pact vetting committee. I'm now going on a date with Oliver Price, the non-jerk, non-feeder. I shoot Jason a look, and I bet I'm going to have an awesome time. I slip my purse over my shoulder and turn to leave. Be sure to eat up, Jason says to my back as I make my way across the floor. I ignore him. I'm going on a date with a good guy, one of the decent ones, and if my hopes were any higher, I'd have my own atmosphere as I orbited the sun. That was the latest chapter of No More Bad Dates. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you back here for the next chapter soon.